Hello, this is Paul Brookins, and welcome back to How to Play Dwarf Fortress. We're in part 17 now, and we're going to go ahead and cover some of the workshops that we didn't get a chance to in the last video because they weren't done being built. Oh, the ashery is not done still. But we'll go ahead and cover the loom and the clothier shop. The loom's a little bit interesting. It's one of the ones where it's kind of automatic. You can collect webs and weave cloth and weave silk cloth, weave cloth out of wool, hair, or yarn. You can also weave cloth out of metal. There's only one type of metal which you can do that with, and it's a very special type of metal that we probably won't see for a long time, called adamantine. So but all of this stuff is automatically done for you. It's a setting that you can turn on and off. It'll automatically make thread out of raw materials and make cloth out of threads. So, and it'll automatically collect the raw materials, collect webs at least, on its own without you having to do anything, which brings up a point that I wanted to show you. There's another menu from the main menu called Set Orders. You can change the default settings, and I'm going to go ahead and change a couple of them now. If you hit O, it'll bring up this menu. Some of the orders that you can change: dwarfs gather animals, or dwarfs ignore animals. Dwarfs gather food, or dwarfs ignore food. Furniture, bodies, all these things that they normally would automatically go and pick up these items and put them into stockpiles. You can decide to turn them off. This Refuge one is one that I usually change. You hit R for refuse, and they will gather refuse, but they'll ignore refuse from outside. I like to go ahead and pick it up and make the outside nice and neat and tidy, just like the inside. And I also like to go ahead and throw away vermin remains as well. You can change it from ignore vermin remains to gather vermin remains. That's one thing I changed from the default settings. They'll save corpses, skulls, bones, shells, skin, hair, and wool in our refuse stockpile, and you'll be able to use those for crafting in the craft dwarfs. I know it's kind of weird, but yeah, you can use hair and skin and bones, skulls to make crafts out of. So you can even use the bones of your enemies if you're so lucky to kill some goblins or something. So if we back out of the refuse orders, we'll look at all the other standing orders. There's the forbid menu. We go capital F to go into forbid. And one thing that I go ahead and change is forbid used ammunition. We go ahead and change that to claim used ammunition because we want that. You can forbid other death items. You know, what it's talking about is you claim your dead and put it in a stockpile. Claim your death items, the items from your dead dwarfs, you'll go ahead and claim and put into stockpiles. You can claim the other dead, like other species or other dwarfs that aren't from your civilization. Claim them and put them into your corpse stockpile or refuse stockpile. It's set to forbid all the items that belong to somebody else who died on your map. So you can leave them outside after a big battle and go collect them later on and do with them what you will. They'll just be laying out on the battlefield until you have time to collect them, because a lot of times in a battle there'll be 20-30 enemies in a small battle that are dead laying on the battlefield, and you don't want your dwarfs to go after you allow them outside of your fort just go and pick up all those items right away. Sometimes you just want to gather them slowly, or you want to do some other things first. So I'd go ahead and leave that as forbidden until you can claim it. That's another thing I'll show you how to do later. In the designations menu, there's a way to claim forbidden items or forbid regular items that are already set to be put into stockpiles. You can also dump items into a trash storage area, and that's a good way to condense some of your items. I'll probably do that with rocks here in the next couple videos, because it looks like, even though I'll exit out of this, even though, yeah, we're pretty full on our rock stockpile, and we still have a lot of rocks still laying around that we haven't collected. So it's good to condense them into a trash pile at some point if you can. So let's go back into the orders. We'll go ahead and show you more of that. They will gather minerals and wood and harvest, and they'll mix food together in barrels. I think that's what that means. Yeah. So you don't have to keep them separated. Workshop orders, capital W. You can auto loom all the thread. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the loom will automatically do stuff. That's in this orders, in the workshop orders. You can use any cloth, or you can hit D to change it to only use dyed cloth. So that can be something that you distinguish. Okay, if I'm going to make a bunch of dresses, we're only going, or robes or whatever, we're only going to make it out of dyed cloth. That way you can distinguish what. You can maybe leave a little bit of cloth to use for something else if you want to. If you want to put robes on repeat, you can make only robes out of dyed cloth and leave some normal cloth left over for something else later. That's something. It'll automatically collect webs, which if you're digging down under the ground, if you played this game before, you know that there's caves underground, and I don't like to delve into the caves until I need to. So until I at least have a decent amount of military might, because once you open up the caves, there's a chance of getting big baddies and even small number of baddies that can get into your fort and cause trouble. So I like to leave the caves as they are until I get a proper military going. Anyway, there's webs down in those caves, and you can automatically collect them if you have this turned on, which it's on by default. It'll automatically slaughter and butcher any animals that you have set up to be butchered, and that's done in your butchery. You can auto fishery, auto kitchen, auto tan. So yeah, all of these things are things that are automatically done. Kitchen, it'll automatically render fat into tallow. Tallow is used in cooking, and it's also used in soap making, so there's not really any reason to keep fat around other than to make tallow, so that's a good thing to do. So all of these, just want to show you those, and let you know that they're there in the O menu, set orders menu. So that's what those are all about. So that's why the loom automatically does things without you telling it to. The clothier shop, I don't know how to say that. Clothier. In that you can make things out of 3 different types of cloth. There's cloth that's made out of plants. You specifically can make regular cloth out of pigtails. Pigtails turn into pigtail fiber if you process them in a farmer's workshop, and the pigtail fiber can be turned into pigtail fiber cloth. So that's going to be the easiest way to get cloth, and I'm going to set up one of my farm plots to make pigtails at least one season out of the year. maybe 2 seasons, because it's useful to have a lot of cloth around now. If you go down, you can also make silk out of spider silk webs that you find in caves, or if you happen to be so lucky to capture a giant spider or a regular spider in a cage, you can set it up to shoot webs at things. I've seen it set up so that you can shoot webs at like dogs that you have chained to the room, and you'll just have constant webs being spit out. That'd be nice, but we're not going to be able to do that in this game for a long time at least. Yarn is you can make out of wool, which is done. You can shear the animals that you have, if you have any shearable animals in the workshop, the farmer's workshop, and turn that into yarn. So those are the different types, but if you go into one of these menus, you can make a bunch of clothing, different types of clothing. You can make bags. You'll end up making a lot of bags for various reasons, which I'll go over later. You can make rope, which let's make some ropes right now. They're useful. You can also make ropes out of metal. That's what you do in that one. Let's go up to our farmer's workshop, or our farmer's food production area, and we'll show you the butcher shop. You can do this stuff here, but really all you have to do is have the butcher shop. I'll show you how to... Yeah, it looks like we're about out of time. I'll show you how to set up animals for butchery, and we'll go over some of these other shops. I'll go over a little bit more in the farmer's workshop. We'll go over all the different food related workshops in the next video. If you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. But in the meantime, my name's Paul Bo Brookins, and we'll see you next time.